Right, welcome everybody. I will be calling the meeting at 6 p.m. on Monday, September 11th, 2023. Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic Great. Thank you. Do we have any changes or addition to the agenda, Bethany? Okay,
Got an addition of one action item,
Okay.
approval of board retreat on November 11th.
okay, great. Thank you. We're on to public comment. Any public comment? No? Okay. And first up is student council report. Welcome, Carrie Sue.
Thank you. My name is Carrie Sue and I'm the executive board president of student council this year. Right now we're working on getting ready for homecoming. We were able to meet up in the summer as a group to get things started, get the whole process moving. It was pretty successful. We got our committees, just get the whole homecoming moving forward. Right now we're working on having the dance at Locke. The theme for this year is Under the Stars, so that'll be really fun to decorate for. In order to get more to participation this year with the theme days, we're going to try to make it a competition between grades. So each grade will have, dress up, and then we'll reward like each student with participation tokens, and then they'll get their tokens, put it in a jar. And at the end of the week, the grade with the most participation will get a reward of some kind. We're still working out the kinks with the award, but it'll be something good. We are also working on the pep assembly to get everyone excited for the football game. We're playing East Jordan. Then we're going to make the theme for the game construction/neon. Hopefully everybody participates in that. And right now our games committee is working on getting some fun activities planned for the afternoon on Friday this year. Instead of having games all through the week, we're going to have like our speed day, half day Friday lunch. And then the afternoon will be pep assembly and games. And just get everyone excited for homecoming. And that's all. Right now, we're on track to have a good homecoming and have overall a good year in student council.
Nice. So the dance will be game Friday night, dance Saturday.
It's Saturday night, 7 to 10, the 23rd.
Here at the school,
We're
or
working on trying to have it at the Leland Outdoor Center.
be nice.
Yeah, just a change up of scenery.
Mhm.
It'll be fun.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0, motion carries. Okay, on to our first discussion item, athletic trainer contract.
Thank you. We have seen a need for athletic trainer. One of the very unique things about Glen Lake, which is fantastic, is that we offer a lot of programs for kids. It's great. And on the athletic side, we're offering up to 26. So the part of this would be, we have a athletic trainer contract with Paul Oliver through Munson that is 30 hours per week. That 30 hours isn't really meeting the demand of what we have for our student athletes. Even if you think about what time would you come on a Wednesday or a Tuesday for a volleyball game, or a Friday night for a football game, or a Thursday, think about how many hours you have to be before and after an event, and 40 is necessary. So we're running short. We're actually trying to get things squeezed in too much. So we want to extend it from 30, which our currently contract is, to 40. And that's again to meet the demand of what we have. We also have a full gamut of middle school sports that our trainer currently isn't really able to help with at all. And to be able to get to those more would be a big deal. So the recommendation would be to increase from 30 to 40. What you can see is an increase in there of from 45 to 62. Yes,
And it would still be Christian, correct?
yes.
Yeah.
But it is the athletic
the
trainer that's
hours.
provided through Paul Oliver, through Munson, through layers and layers. So
Anybody have any further questions on that? No? Okay, thank you. 7.2 edition of the middle school boys basketball coach. Come on up.
So we are asking to add an additional our middle school basketball coach this year. Last year we saw a huge increase and we did actually have one of the coaches take on another team. This year we have 34 7th and 8th graders signed up, which is way too many for two teams. When they play 6-minute quarters, I mean, those kids don't get much floor time. So we are looking to add another coach, which would be a combination team, probably between 7th and 8th graders split up. And then I would just find additional games for them. And last year it worked out. A lot of TCAPS teams came and we played 3 games that night. So I would just need to find more games to make it work, but I think it will be very helpful for our middle school program.
How many extra students did you say?
Well, there's 17 7th graders and 17 8th graders signed up currently.
34.
Mhm. Yeah. And even in the past, when we had like 15 on a team, it was a lot.
Even to get 10.
Mhm.
in.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things to factor into this is the general supervision of children, of student athletes. That's a lot. If you're playing a lot of games. And if we were to say, well, have 2 coaches and then you wouldn't have practice time and also supervision of all where they are around here. This also say extends the opportunity for participate as opposed to making cuts down to a manageable number. So that's what we're recommending if the board would do that.
Rachel, have you seen that format where they do 5 quarters?
For the middle school level,
Yes.
I have not seen it. A lot of,
I have because I was
Mhm.
able to, my
Yeah.
son coached it for years. It's really pretty cool. You have the first 3 quarters. If you lose the quarter, the worst you can be behind is 2-0 at the end of the quarter. So after the first 3 quarters, the worst you can be is 6-0 behind.
Mhm.
So everybody can play. Everybody plays those quarters. Then you can focus on, other players in the last 2 quarters, and play the regular game. It's pretty cool format.
yeah. I would think it would, that would have to be a lot of the other schools getting on board for
It
something.
would be, yeah.
Because we used to even do 8-minute quarters and they dropped it to 6 minutes.
Yeah, I'm personally, I really don't I don't think anybody likes 6 minutes quarters when you're
Mhm.
trying to develop kids, but I could go down that rabbit hole. One unique thing for Glen Lake too, I mean, we really got to think about is we're sitting here as a school that's a Division 4, Division 8 school, if you think about where we are. And we're talking about 34 kids and 2 teams. So like competition doesn't always allow to have 2 teams at 8th grade, 2 teams at 7th grade that you can go home and aways. So we'd most likely be scheduling a lot of games with TCAPS to make sure our kids have the opportunities because they're the only local, relatively local school that has more than 1 team at each level.
Yeah, yep. I think we could easily, they could either practice together or add on an additional practice after theirs and still not be too late in the evening. No, yeah, they still want to be pushed late. So I don't think that's a problem.
Okay, we are on to our action items. Okay. 149-23, approval of increasing athletic trainer contract, that the athletic trainer contract be increased from 30 hours to 40 hours. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0 motion carries. On to 150-23, approval of additional middle school boys basketball coach. That the addition of a middle school boys basketball coach be approved. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? The only, wanted to ask, do we have interest in coaching? Candidates, I guess we have to post it, so
Yeah,
hopeful.
right now we have one open position, but there is someone applying for it, so I.
Okay. Okay. All right, thank you. Any other further discussion?
I have one. Just
Yeah.
want to say kudos to Rachel, our athletic department, for also knowing the demand, using the system that we do to be able to anticipate the demand for support well in advance, to be able to make these decisions. So
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0 motion carries. Approval of cross-country overnight trip to Portage, that the overnight trip to Portage invitational October 6th and 7th, 2023 be approved. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0 motion carries. 152-23, approval of the board retreat on November 11th, 2023, that a board retreat be held on November 11th, 2023. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? I'm assuming. You talked to Jason Homa?
will talk.
Okay. I have, and passing talked to him about it, and he is interested. Yes, and he's willing. Yep. Yep. He just needs to know a time, and he appreciated that we looked into November because he's pretty busy. Sports. Okay. Anything further? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0 motion carries. Okay, on to principal reports. Mr. Schrock.
Good evening, school board. Whoa, that's really loud. We had probably the smoothest first week of school I've ever experienced, I think in all 22, 23 years of being in education. And I don't think it's a lot of planning that took place over the summer. We've got an amazing administrative team, an amazing cabinet where everybody's focused on the same thing. But I think truly it goes back to all the hard work that our teachers, our paraprofessionals, and our parents did to prepare kids for school. Like getting back on summer schedule, getting those sleep routines back in for elementary school. That's not easy with little ones. I have big ones. It's not easy for my older children either. You know, my senior still wants to stay up late and sleep in. But getting back into that routine has been wonderful. The kids have felt supported. The classrooms are they're humming, and it's just a lot of hard work that pays off. It almost makes it look like this is easy. That's how smooth things have gone. So I want to thank you for your support. I know there's a lot of work that was done over the summer to prepare for the school year, and we're there. So we're in good shape.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you Dina's report in regards to the middle school. So they had Laker Camp, an intentional first 4 days, balance of building a positive school culture, developing safety expectations with students, getting organized, spent time at their lockers and getting used to using those, learning what middle school is all about. Student council has already met and are planning the first activities of the school year. And then our new partnership with Lyft. So Leelanau Investing for Teens is up and running during the school day. And the free after school support will begin on September 19th. So it's been really exciting because Steph Murphy's working pretty hard on the programming there. I think there's going to be some awesome opportunities for our students. For high school, students spent the last week settling right into last year's routines. It was kind of fun. Somebody said, oh yeah, it's only the second week. I think they feel like they've been here for a few weeks, which is always good. They really went over classroom expectations and were eagerly immersed in their subject matter by the end of the week. It was kind of cool to watch learning happening on Thursday and Friday. And I think it was nice for the students to get back into that, right? I met with each grade level to discuss the need for leadership within the hallways. We talked a lot about growing learners, graduating leaders, and how that lends to the secondary. And many students actually share that they've been asked to lead. They've been given leadership roles without being given the guidance on being a good leader. So we talked about what embodied a good leader, and then they actually took those words and put them into the same concepts of our portrait of graduate, right? So if this is what I think a good leader is does that found citizenship, collaboration, communication? So it was a really good discussion to have with our students. Our football team then showcased leadership by working the car line on Friday. They showcase manners by opening doors and greeting students. We're planning on that becoming a tradition, football Fridays, and soccer has already reached out and they want to put together a home date. So the hope is to actually get multiple sports and student organizations that are out there greeting our students. And then another student even came and said, hey, we need to make sure that we're by the buses next time too, right? Let's make sure that we get a line outside the buses. So it's really cool to watch our secondary students really want to embody what those leadership capabilities are and showcase that and be tangible role models, right? We talked a lot about being a K-12 building and that, you know, that need is very prevalent, right? Like they can see it and they want to be it and they want to make sure that they're bridging that gap. So we're excited. Carrie Sue took a little bit of the thunder talking about homecoming, but we are jumping right in and students are excited. It's kind of cool this early to hear that buzz and that excitement as well, and to have kids talking about it. There's also lots of buzz about our German exchange students. There's a group chat going with all of their hosts and all 20 of them. So lots of talk in regards to some of the things that are going to happen. But it's fun to watch our kids talk about it and be immersed. And then students who aren't hosts are already collaborative and want to do things with them. And they have their own social circle going. So every morning I get to see the snaps on, they're all getting ready for school. So it's really cool. So we have some really, really exciting things coming right off the bat. So it's really important that we settled in and that we're ready to kind of take on the 23-24 school year.
Thank you. On to our last public comment.
Can I ask one question about Lyft? Is that,
Left.
yeah, sorry, is that 6 through 9? Or just 6, 7, 8? Just middle school?
Middle school at this
Okay.
point. Yep. I can say there's been some freshmen reach out though too for Lyft.
It again.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, public comment.
Good evening, everyone. You've seen me before, Linda Schimmick, if you don't remember who I am. Every time that I've attended the meetings, I'm just so happy to be a part of this community because I know you support the children that we all love, the families that bring them here to school. There's so much craziness going on in the world. And I know that everyone here has the interest of our children at heart. And that's why I'm here tonight with some concerns that I have of the big world and how we may be infiltrated without knowing it. I bring with me a book called Melissa. It's published by Scholastic Books. Scholastic's books existed when I was a kid. We would get the summer flyers every week. It's labeled as a gold book. If you go on Amazon, it's the teacher's pick. And it's written for 3rd to 4th graders. The subject in this book is a boy named George. And boys didn't like George. And George wasn't so sure that she thought about what she thought about them either. So it's using the pronouns. I had a real hard time reading this because I knew George was a boy. And whenever it referred to George, it was her or she. So I knew what was going on, but this is a 3rd to 4th grade book written for, I don't think there's going to be a little boy looking for this kind of literature, but it's a scholastic book. It's in the teacher's pick. So if a teacher goes and chooses books that are suggested, are good, this may be something that comes in the box. And I'm not standing here, I'm not here to criticize the subject. I'm here because I'm concerned about little boys that might read this and not be comfortable with who they are, not knowing. And reading this, in even one section of it, it's this boy's older brother told him how he can use his mother's computer and erase, his searches so that she doesn't know he was looking at what he was looking at. So I'm concerned. And a couple of things. Is this true? Is Scholastic really of this mindset? This particular book was one of the highest rated banned books with parents in the country and different associations that were looking at books. But yet it's the teacher's pick and it's a gold awarded book. The man that wrote this book, this is a tweet that he had. His name is Alex Gino, and he has 3 books. Queer kids in queer phobic homes especially need access to queer books away from home. So is our school library or public library, it's innocent. And nobody's going to do this on purpose, or I shouldn't say that either, but we would hope that it would be just something that your child would bring home, one of your boys, and it's tantalizing, the story in it. So it might be something they get caught up in and start questioning the fact that I have a grandson that loves to play piano, that loves to wear tie-dyed sweatshirts, and another grandson who in between wrestling meets is constantly drawing. And they could be picked on for some of these things. And so if they're unhappy with their lives and something like this comes along, that's where I become concerned. I don't think that children need to be questioning. My daughter Liz has said, if some of this stuff was available to me when I was in 4th or 5th grade, when I didn't understand who I was, a girl playing soccer with the boys, playing football with the boys, if I read something like this, I may question who I was supposed to be. And now she's the mother of 5 beautiful children. So that our children can be shortchanged from being exposed to some of this stuff. And I just, again, I'm always so pleased when I come here because I know we're a great community. I know that, but we can be, something can come into our lives that we're not planning. And so that's my concern. So I didn't have a plan, so I know I'm going to go over my time, but I just wanted to read a statement from Scholastic. I think this is from 2019. This year, 8 of the 10 most challenged books on the American Library Association's most challenged books list were there because of LGBTQIA+ content, and we are proud that 2 of them were published by Scholastic. And one of them was this book, Melissa, and the other one was a book called Drama. And this Melissa was one of the most challenged books of the year since 2002 or 2003 by individuals. There are still more voices out there that need to be heard. We will work, this is Scholastic, we will work hard to find and promote them and provide every child with books where he, she, or they can see the joy and importance of all identities. I know that we are instilling, all of our children are good to one another. They accept one another for who they are, and trying to instill the importance of accepting people. I don't see that as a problem with the children that we're raising, but there may be other problems that come from some of this stuff. Well, just one other thing, and I'll just pass this off. On September 27th, in January or February, there was not a conference, but an evening here where Sheriff Borkovich came and spoke about the internet, the kids with and there were very few people that were able to be here. There were a lot of us older grandmas and grandpas, but on September 27th, there's going to be an event like this at Suttons Bay. But this is called Empowering All Parents. What is Sextortion? And Sheriff Borkovich has all kinds of stories to share with this kind of thing that's going on with the iPhones, kids taking their phones in their bedrooms at night and having conversations and getting into situations that are not healthy. So it's September 27th at 6:30. The Grand Traverse Band is the Officer Grand Traverse Band is part of it. I'll just leave this with Bethany. But try to, if you see anything more on this, it would be nice to see more representation of this community, the adults, parents, and teachers. That's real. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Superintendent report.
Echo what was stated with Ryan, Dina is at a conference, and Jamie's report. That was really nice to have teaching and learning take the focus for the first week of school, be able to hit the ground, and that's just the great effort of all of our staff to be able to get that going. But there's also a lot to be said about this group right here and the stability that you've given to the district to be able to hit the ground running, as so to speak. It was a great first week of school, and it was great to see our staff, families, children come back excited, nervous, excited, crying, happy tears, sad tears. I don't know if Mr. Schrock's been at my house, but kids have not been going to bed well yet, so it's okay if they put on a good front. One of them's over there. And we have some quick things coming up. You heard homecoming's coming up next week already. We have our German exchange program coming next week. So our German exchange students will be able to experience homecoming here with our students as well. This weekend also marks a pretty big travel event that we have coming up. Brooke, Ben, and myself traveling to Washington, D.C. this weekend. We have a very, very full slate. This is the most we are scheduled to visit with our senators and reps. And it is vitally important this year that we are there for FLISA and for NAFIS and Impact Aid, because if you know, we still haven't, the federal government has not really, the summer wasn't productive, we'll say that, if you could label anything productive. This is really a budget crunch season, so it's very important that we have our voice. We've done it for 2 rounds now, talking about the potential cliffs and is there a cliff? But this is really where the rubber meets the road. We have a lot of work to do, and I said that'll be the busiest time we've had in DC, and I'm happy to have that. But it is extremely important this year. I think it always is, but this legislative advocacy will be important. And we're visiting with some folks that we haven't had the opportunity to before. So, yes.
In the past, we've seen our own representatives, which has been really important, and we've established great relationships with them. But this time we're looking at the whole state of Michigan and looking at just advocating for the impact aid for both NAFIS and FLISA. Just kind of spreading the awareness with all of our representatives.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Is it just you guys, or is it representatives from other schools as well who are meeting with with all of our senators and reps?
Well, Stephanie Long from Leland. So that'll be our coalition this time. Our Baraga superintendent isn't coming this time, so she would normally be part of that as well. But yeah,
We've made really good progress in the past year. Just again, factual information about why this is important. And actually somebody co-signed that last time. So that's great. But we're going up and down. There's also, all the congressional districts were redrawn. So people that may have had a connection with like a Fred Upton, now is a Bill Heisinger down in Southwest Michigan, who runs over to West Michigan and down and so I was like, hey, I know Bill, because from where I was before, so I'd like to go be able to talk to him in a different spot or do other things, see a lot of different folks, which is important. It's important. And then finally, we have a forum this Wednesday, a community forum bond meeting that will be a presentation, a nice question and answer session for our community. Invite everybody out, and that should be a very good event. And I put some flyers here, just some flyers we've been handing out. First presentation one today. We had one canceled tonight, but at our first, and then it's pretty much steady from here on out doing presentations. So
Great.
excited to get the information out.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Advocacy.
Great. We did not receive any board correspondence this last 2 weeks. But I should have done this a few steps ago, but I see Mr. Brad Fosmer in the audience, and I wanted to congratulate you after the action item. The new varsity head girls coach. So
Thank you.
thank you for coming too as well. And thank you for taking on this leadership. Okay, scheduled activities, September 13th, community forum. Hope many people come at 7 p.m. September 18th through the 22nd will be homecoming week, and September 25th, workshop meeting at 6 p.m. And on that note, I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 6:31.